Welcome everybody out to podcast number 398. We're going to talk about what we can do in our current economy with the current supply chain crisis. Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome everybody. I hope you're doing well. I've got good news for you. Well, maybe it's just good news for me, but we were able to, in a real rush, set up our recording studio over there at the Field Verified offices with Brian Melcher. We're starting to record those really nice videos tomorrow afternoon. It's been a big push for us. We're wanting to reach more people through those videos. And by the way, we work with Nicholas Modig with Construction Excellence and the wonderful people at Lean Communications in Norway to scale lean information and specifically training for construction. And so if you're ever interested in lean fundamentals courses, operational transformation courses, any of the courses that we have in construction for lean fundamentals or for the integrated production control system or Takt planning, please let me know. But we were recording. Anyway, why I'm telling you this is that not a lot of free time right now. I just got done probably of 3 months being on the road, as you know. And it's been nice to be a little bit back at home, back on my time zone, and we're setting things up. And so we're ready to go, but I'm now doing a podcast on the way home. But I was like, dang it, they're not going to take another podcast for me with the background noise. But the traffic is so bad that I was like, oh, I think I can pull this off. So if you hear a bump or something, I am driving, but it wasn't so noisy that I thought it'd be a problem. Anyway, really appreciate all of you. The podcast numbers are through the roof. There's so many people providing positive feedback and listening to these podcasts there. And I attempt to make them quick, 18 minutes to the point. Here's the information. Go. Please let me know how I can improve them. But boy, I tell you what, we're at around on average like 700, 800, 900, sometimes even 1,000 people listening a day to the podcast now. And it's because you are sharing this information and really helping us. And boy, do I appreciate it. You're fantastic and I love you. So this is what I need everybody to do. I want everybody to listen to me and glean the right things from this, and you leave whatever you don't want. But we are in and entering in a supply chain crisis that literally nobody can do anything about. I did a podcast the other day on why it was happening, and it's true. The franticness, the panic is what causes these supply chain problems, especially when there's a ripple. Now, when you have COVID-19, there's going to be a ripple because factories shut down. Then once you see a little bit of scarcity, everybody starts to panic and go mad. We saw that when COVID-19 hit with the supermarkets and toilet paper, right? It's not just in time deliveries that's the problem. It's the panic. It's the attitude. And I'm not even saying that we don't have to respond to it, right? If everybody's panicking, you have to panic too to get out the exit door, right? If everyone else is panicking with materials, you have to panic too. So I get it. I'm not condemning you. I just want to make sure that everybody knows what the actual reason is. So Katie also has been, she researches the news, not for me, for herself, but she always keeps me up to date. And she was like, we are about to enter in a supply chain crisis, the likes of which we've never seen. Now, for people that are wondering about this, dude, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, it's just happening. And so the question is, should you go push and kill people on construction projects? No, we need to get better at this, and we need to get more transparent with the owner. So it's going to be hard to get steel. It's going to be hard to get joists. It's going to be hard to get metal decking. It's going to be hard, all the things, right? But some of those are forced errors and some of those are unforced errors, meaning some of that is inevitable variation and some of that is uninevitable variation. So this is what I would really, really like to ask the entire industry to do right now as a favor to me, and as a favor to you, and as a favor to the vendors, and as a favor to everybody in construction, so that we can level this as much as we possibly can. So I'm going to give you some practical advice. This is what we need to do. So if you're a superintendent, a PM, a senior PM, a project executive, a project director, a field director, general superintendent, owner of a business, whatever, this is our plan. So let's go ahead and sit down and talk as friends. we need to implement on a mass scale procurement logs in a very intentional way. Now, let me be clear about something. Your Procore, Prolog, CMIC, whatever other system you're using, submittal register systems is not a procurement log. So let me just be clear about that. You can, in your submittal register in those applications, put a due date, but for the most part, it tracks the project management items only. Here are the categories that I care about. I want required on job. I want the material inventory buffer. I want the actual shipment duration. I want the fabrication duration. I want the approvals and queuing duration. I want to know how long the actual approvals take for all parties, including the designers. And I want to know how long it takes to actually submit that. And I want to know how long it takes to actually design and put together the shop drawings and any of the information that's actually going to queue up the material release. So that is not a submittal register. What I'm talking to you about is a procurement log. And so those procurement logs, really, I've never seen better ones anywhere other than Excel. And somebody would be like, well, you can't run a multi-but. Yes, you can. Okay, so calm down. Just calm down. If you want to find a software, if you want to do this in Smartsheet, or if you want to program something, fine, go do it. I'm just saying in Excel, it's a jamming system. And if you want to do something better, great. I love you. Send it to me and I'll publish it on the Lean Takt YouTube channel for everybody to see, and we'll praise you. So what I'm saying though is people think that because they have a submittal register that everything's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. What we have to do, whether you're using CPM, God forbid, or if you're using Takt planning, thank God, you need to know your required on job dates for everything. And you can have a good schedule put together. I'm telling you, in schematic design, you can have a Takt plan, and that's the genius of the system. Have a Takt plan put together in schematic design. So here we go. If you have that, then all you have to do is piece out all the required materials. Now, are you going to track drywall? Maybe, maybe not. Are you going to track, like, screws? No, probably not. Okay. But are you going to track light fixtures? Yes. Are you going to track millwork? Yes. Are you going to track exterior curtain wall? Yes. Are you going to track critical pieces of equipment for mechanical and commissioning? Yes. All of those things need to be distilled down from the specifications and in coordination with the trade partners right away. So if I go to a job, first things I ask, do we have a Takt plan? Do we have our procurement log? Has somebody gone through these specs? And are we queued up with a 90-day schedule ready to go so that we can mobilize this project? And do we have a financial projection sheet so that we know what kind of deal we're signing up at a GMP? I swear to you, as God is my witness, without any irreverence, when I travel around this industry, 90% of the projects, the project managers and the PXs, they have no idea what their financial projections are. They have no idea the status of all of their procurement, and they have no project controls. Guys and gals, this is project management 101. We have to have these things. I went to a job that was halfway through. Where's your procurement log? Yeah, we don't have one. The trade partners take care of it. What? Yeah, where are your financials? Oh yeah, we do kind of a project status report every month. Well, what about your status of your contingency? Oh, we don't know. What about potentials? What about your exposure log? We don't know. What about the difference between your lump sum self-performed contract and your overall budget? What's remaining? We don't know. But we have this sheet that tells us, okay, well, what does the sheet mean? Well, we don't know how to read it. What? What are we talking about here? Okay, so I need that procurement log. We need that procurement log up and running. I don't care if we got to work 12-hour days for a couple weeks and go against this whole team balance and health personal organization system thing. We need to get that done. And I need all of those required on job dates plugged in from the master schedule. You need that, rather. Once those dates are in there, the second most important column is the buffer. Now, you can, in short order, in your fresh eyes meeting especially, identify the increased buffer durations for any of these items. So if you're like, oh, just in time doesn't work, well, you're wrong. And then second of all, what you need to do is put your buffer time in there, and it will increase the overall planning queue, and that will give you the overall correct duration and when you should release the materials. Okay, so That buffer column, if you're dealing with drywall, maybe the drywall's only increased 2 weeks. Maybe if it's underground pipe and structures, maybe it's increased by 8 weeks and you put 8 weeks in that buffer time. If you have a problem with, exterior curtain wall, and that's a real big problem with glazing for some reason, maybe it's 12 weeks. Whatever it is, whatever has increased from a needed buffer time duration because of COVID-19, buffer time and quantity amount because of COVID-19, we need to put that in that log. Then comes, and you don't just guess on this, you ask the trade partners. I mean, this is phone calls. This is phone call 101. How long, sorry if you hear my turn signal here, how long will it take to actually ship that stuff? Does it come through port? Do we need a buffer for the port, right? One quick sidebar here is that a lot of the supply chain delays are still from the Suez Canal, from the Los Angeles ports being understaffed and boats waiting, and from just delivery companies not being able to ship things. And because the prices to ship things by boat have doubled, quadrupled, it multiplied by 10 or 20 times the original price, right? So we have supply chain problems, not just from freaking out and panic and batching, but also from basically just the supply chain logistics not being able to get it where we need to. So we really need to look at each individual time duration. And if it used to be okay, we're shipping this and it took, let's just say it came from China and it took 10 weeks. Well, is that still with the Suez Canal and the Los Angeles ports? Is that still the same case? Or is it literally going to take 20 weeks? So make sure you have the right delivery duration. Make sure you have the right fabrication duration. Do not be afraid to call those people. And then you get back to the approvals. Now, here's the thing. When somebody says, let's just order everything all at once, send it through all at once, get the submittals done all at once, blah, 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 all at once. Hey, I love the idea of having it done before construction, but you can't do it all at once. You're going to overburden the designers. You're going to make a mistake in reviewing the submittals. So we have to have some common sense here. So what you're going to do is put together your procurement log, and let me go through these categories one more time. And if you need this log, I'll send it to you. But you're going to have the required on-job date, the material inventory buffer duration, the delivery duration, the fabrication duration, the queuing duration, which is from the time it's approved to when it actually starts to be fabricated. What is the queuing duration? The approvals, including the architect and any other owner and contractor approvals, and the time that it takes to queue that and to design the shop drawings and the submittals, right? And to get all of that done. So that is the whole system. I need that done for every single submittal with accurate durations. And then you're going to start to see what are the earliest ones that should populate. Best thing to do if you're using Excel is do conditional formatting. So when the dates populate, meaning you have a column that says the duration and then it calculates a date, the next column. Duration, date, duration, date, duration, date. So you'll have point of release dates all through this procurement log throughout the entire system. If you do conditional formatting, you can tell the cell to highlight red if the current date is past the targeted date when that point of release should have been happening. And so that's really where we are with this. Now, when you use that log, you'll have all these cells queuing up red. And if this log is done and populated the right way, you can actually filter all the items. So you know what you should work on first and start working through that at a faster rate than the needed approvals. But it is still leveled, meaning that you have to work on the first things first. The other thing you can do is if you in your risk analysis in your fresh eyes meeting have identified that certain activities are really high impact because of the dependency the project has upon them or the level of risk, you can highlight the description of those in red and show that to the owner. Now, here's where it becomes remarkable. If you've gotten all the best data, that procurement log will help you build a realistic schedule that you can sell to the owner. It will help you to build a realistic schedule in pre-construction. It will tell you when you can realistically start. And so you have data for the owner, but you also have a baseline. So now that you have a baseline, now every week, instead of just being like, Mr. and Mrs. Owner, yeah, the trade called me and said it's going to be 14 weeks late, blah, 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 we're behind schedule. And the owner's like, what? Instead of doing that and asking them to just blindly trust you, which they shouldn't, because if you don't have a procurement log, you have no idea what the original target was anyway. But really, if you have a baseline, then you can talk to the owner and say, hey, we all went through this. We did the research. We knew what the supply chains were doing at the time, but it's fluctuated. So now when I change this buffer duration or the delivery duration or the fabrication duration from 14 weeks to 16, not only do you have an Excel template that tracks these things and proves that we went from the best knowledge and that it changed, but also it's visible to the owner so they know what's going on. So then you can tell them, all right, these are our options. We can split it out into crews. We can expedite. We can change materials. We can, blah, 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 whatever. But in the OAC meeting, instead of, oh, everything's going okay, I'll just absorb the impacts. We have no idea where we are with materials and blah, blah, blah. Instead of doing that, be like, you're going through every list. Here's what we're dealing with procurement this week. Here's where we're dealing with procurement next week. And you decide and work through it as a team, and you do not absorb things blindly together. No problem with procurement belongs to you alone. It belongs to the entire team. So that's the case. Now, you're going to get rid of, for the most part, the unforced errors, the uninevitable variation, so that all that's left is the forced errors and the inevitable variation, the things that were going to happen no matter what, that you have zero control over. But how much better will the owner look upon you if you have reduced and removed the uninevitable problems, the things that you can control, that you could see, that you could plan, that you could level? I caution you to not just rubber stamp submittals and throw it out because you're in a rush. What good is the materials that come at the end of a long supply chain if they come out wrong and you can't use them anyway? I mean, we have to have common sense with this. So these are the things that we need to do. Please, every job, everybody, every contractor, everybody in the United States, we need you right now to have a procurement log on every project up and running. I mean, this is emergency status. It's not, oh, that was a good podcast, I'm going to share it with somebody. No, it's sit in your room with leadership and find a scalable method where you can ensure that in 2 weeks, every project has those as tools, and that you've provided supplemental training, and that it is a condition of employment. That is what we absolutely need to do. The other thing is we have to start weekly procurement reviews with the entire project team that reviews every single item, every single aspect of procurement as it relates to the project. That's item number 2. Item number 3, we need to have 15-minute project manager with the rest of the team, with the superintendent. Project management, basically 15-minute daily team standing huddles that are talking about these things and removing roadblocks on a daily basis and aligning procurement as one of the top priorities. The only other things that you can do is to make sure that in your quality process and your submittal reviews that you install it right the first time. You cannot start pushing and releasing materials that you're not sure is coordinated and right and let it show up at the last minute wrong and then be in a world of mess. You have to give yourself that little bit of time to review it. You have to swarm when you need to swarm, and you have to still level even if the queuing dates will be early. Now, the last thing that I'm going to ask everybody to do, because there's still a bunch more to this procurement system, but I want to give you the bare minimum, is that we have to 100%, 1 million, thousand, billion %, we have to get these schedules and procurement logs done in as soon as possible, no later than schematic design. And if you think I'm crazy, watch this. You will not get your elevator. You will not get your glass. You will not get your tile. You will not get these long lead items unless you know whether or not you have to release those early with design build or design assist trade partners early on. If you don't have a schedule with that procurement log, at least high level early on, then you have no idea which trade partners you have to bring on early in pre-construction to actually make the schedule. And so that's item number 4. So let's see if I can remember these, because I'm driving safely, but I need a procurement log on every project. I need a weekly procurement meeting with the entire project management team, every project. I need every day the teams working in a 15-minute stand-up huddle, removing roadblocks from the field where procurement is a major issue, major item, major topic that we're covering. And then finally, I need the Takt plan and the procurement log set up no later than the end of schematic design so that we can figure out our strategy in pre-construction and set up the rest of the job for success. So I hope this podcast has been really helpful, because man is just so important, or woman is so important. Like, it's just a big deal. And we have to get ahead of this, because we're about to see, we think it's bad now. We're about to see a supply chain crisis, the likes of which we haven't even thought of before. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.